thing. I love the farmers. They're great. They're the greatest. And by the way, they're getting killed now.
They
They're
are.
getting killed because of the stupid administration.
The suicide rate among farmers and ranchers is 3.5 times the national average. As of the last agricultural census, the average debt for a large operation is $1.8 million. The United States is losing 4.3 acres of farm ground every minute. In 2023, under the Biden-Harris administration, the U.S. became a net food importer for the first time. We are witnessing the largest hollowing out of rural America and outsourcing of American agriculture in our nation's history. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And the change we need is
Trump says, be patient. The farmer's going to be better than ever. Well, you better hurry up.
So that's a guy named Franz Rowland, and he's been farming for 40 years in Georgia. And it's really this next thing he said that just completely blew my mind.
We've lost our market share, our trade to China. I don't know who dropped the ball in Washington to allow these prices, this trade to diminish like it has. But somebody dropped the ball. Somebody wasn't looking out for us.
This dude is a soybean farmer and has been for 40 years. It's his life. It's his business. And he has no idea, literally no idea why China won't buy our soybeans. Seriously. There's a 16-year-old kid somewhere scrubbing the bottom of a toilet in the back of a Hardee's that can tell you why China isn't buying our soybeans. How does a big-time soybean farmer not know that? And by the way, if you remember, they were supposed to start buying our soybeans again. They never did. They never did. Yeah. With that whole deal they made a few months ago where they fixed everything and they were like, okay, they're going to buy soybeans now. They still haven't yet bought any. I've talked a lot recently about how the billionaire and ownership class in this country is buying all the media, social media, all the TV stations, everything so they can completely control all the message. And that is exactly why a 40-year soybean farmer doesn't know why China isn't buying soybeans, because he's not watching the news. He's watching the, I don't know, Trump propaganda network. I don't know what he's watching. And he's literally trying to find anyone else in Washington, D.C. to blame for Donald Trump's trade war against China. And oh, by the way, China stopped buying our soybeans completely the first time Donald Trump was president because of a trade war. I have no idea how someone operates a business for 40 years and has absolutely no concept or idea of how your business is impacted by policies, whether they're local, county, state, or federal. That's literally the most important thing you need to know. You know, I don't know what it is about this guy. I really want to feel bad for him, but I can't. I can't. If you're that irresponsible to not even know what is happening to your business, I just close down. You have no business being a farmer. Seriously, just shut it down. Thanks.
Farmers all over the country are getting screwed over by the federal government in two ways. One way is that the federal grants that were assigned to them, already approved, are now being canceled. And the reason they're being canceled is based on lies, according to people interviewed from these farms and agencies who help, people of color buy land and start their farms. They were told that there were reports of misuse of funds, taking vacations, buying RVs. Those things never happened, according to the people interviewed. But yet, these false allegations without any proof was enough to cancel their federal grants. And this goes for farms, organizations that help farms. $300 million in grants gone, wiped out, taken away from the farm community. On top of that, This right here is a screwworm. This was a pandemic in Texas in the 50s in the cattle industry. This is a parasite that enters the cattle, livestock, lays its eggs, and then the maggots or larvae eat their way out of the livestock. It's the stuff of nightmares. But it took a lot of money, a team of very smart scientists to interrupt the breeding cycle of these parasites and to stop it. And there has been a constant flow of funds to this specific topic of keeping screwworms away from this country, away from our livestock, and Doge cut those funds. When that funding was cut, there was no more testing. The farmers were noticing that they were starting to see it again, notifying Republican representatives of this problem. Representative Don McLaughlin had been begging the federal government to care, to pay attention. He said they're moving at a snail's pace, and we need them to move fast, because once this is here, it is so hard to get rid of, and this would decimate the cattle and beef industry too. Imagine how much, how much beef is right now. Imagine if half of livestock in Texas is infected with screwworms.
America's soybean farmers are in a world of hurt. They're going to lose their farms and their livelihoods, and they did it to themselves. And now they are begging, pleading, oh, help us. We punished ourselves because we thought Donald Trump was only going to hurt the right people, not us. We thought Donald Trump was going to hurt women and black people and Latinos and immigrants and the homeless and LGBTQ. We never thought Donald Trump would hurt us, even though Donald Trump told us on the campaign trail that he was going to raise tariffs, even though Project 2025 explicitly lays out the tariff plan and the plan to bankrupt soybean farmers all across America so that they can buy their land for cheap. Oh, yeah. And Vice President J.D. Vance owns part of an app to help buy up the bankrupt land. Come on, get real. You were either willfully ignorant, dumb, or both, America's soybean farmers. What I don't hear is contrition. I don't hear the man who was on MSNBC this morning, Scott Brown from Arkansas, soybean farmer, who's going to lose it all. I didn't hear him say, I made a mistake. I didn't hear him say, really, I knew, but I just thought it would turn out different because. He didn't say, I'm going to do something different now. He didn't say, I'm going to vote against Trump. He didn't say he was even going to start voting in his own self-interest. He's just begging for a bailout, because that's what we've been doing for 100 plus years in America, is bailing out our farmers. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. They can live with their decision. They can also come to the right side, and they can admit that they made a mistake, and they can admit that racism is expensive, and they can admit that they're not going to be racist and bigots anymore, and that they're going to put not just their self-interest, but everybody's self-interest ahead of Donald Trump's and MAGA's and Heritage Foundation's. But can they do it? Will they do it? Because the rest of us are waiting for them. We are here, open and willing for them to take the right step and to show their humanity.
This is normal. This is very normal. If you, as the president, you want to control the people, you want them to do anything that you want them to do, then you have to touch the backbone, the heartbeat of the country. Where's the heartbeat? The rural areas. That's where farming is done. That's where food comes from. That's where everything that the government needs comes from. So once you touch the rural areas, you have touched the entire country. You have crippled the economy. You have introduced hunger in the country. So people will be obeying your rules, obeying your policies, following you blindly. And that's what today Trump has did in the Gulf of America. Farming has been the sector that has been keeping America in touch. Great. Farming, America has been producing corns, rice, beef to suppliers across the world. But today, they are importing things like beef, because the beef company supplies, like all of them, were shut down due to high cost of living, due to tariffs. Today, go to Nebraska, Arkansas, go to Texas, go to Mississippi, Missouri, Illinois. All these areas are facing one crisis: the high cost of living, the insane prices of fuel, gas, and everything. The fertilizers is unaffordable. People and farmers cannot afford their farming, cannot manage their farms. Today, the real estate owners are the ones who are coming to buy these farms. So you are today running out of workers because you supported deportation. And what I was thinking is that as long as you supported deportation and allowed the immigrants who are working in the farms to be deported and taken away, then you should have stopped eating. If you will have stopped eating, then today you will have not been able to experience or face any problem, because you are doing this when you really clearly knew that you never wanted them anymore. You never wanted their contribution. So their contribution was to make your farms production, was to make your farms productive. So if they are not there, you are not able to get production. So what do you expect to eat? People today are not able to get vegetables, fruits. People today are not able to eat their balanced diets, their proteins, their vitamins, just because of your ego, your ignorance, and your hate and racism. So today, Maga are furious. They are panicking. They are stressful. They are stranded just because the rural area of America is being destroyed a bit by a bit. The situation is worsening every time. Trump is not addressing anything. People today are so stressful because they have living in these rural areas depending in one sector of farming. That's the only thing they know. Their ancestors did the same. Their farms has existed a long time ago, but today they are not able to access to maintain it, to manage and to do their farming. So what next for the Americans is to import foods at a higher prices, is to the smaller farmers or smaller farmers are being touched. You never appreciated the immigrants when they were in your country, and you fail to understand one thing, that the consumers and the smaller business owners are the one who build up economies, because these people eat every day. They buy small things every day. But in that way of collecting those few dollars, it comes by at the end of the day, you find yourself that you have enough money. So after deporting all these thousands of people, how do you expect that the volcano economy will remain stand and strong? At this time, Black and Maga are so mad at blacks. But why are you mad? Because they're not the one who made this decision. The president is not a black person who is executing these policies, rules, and laws. Your own person is doing that. So at this time confronting your own leaders, asking them questions, and demanding justice and delivery to your countries, to your life and civic economy. So I won't take much of a time for all that's happening. You know all that's happening in America. The rural areas is dying. It's being destroyed by high cost of living, by Trump's policy of tariffs and everything. And the farmers are feeling it. Farmers have lost their hope, have lost their joy, their joy. They are not able to smile because of all that's happening. They are not able today to rear their families, to protect their own interest, their own life, just because of what's happening, what they voted for. So I won't take much of your time. Just drop everything in the comment section of thoughts. What you are thinking about these videos, all that you're watching happening. What can you say about this? I will make sure to respond to your comments, your thoughts at the end of this, and we stay blessed.